Hello. How are you? Welcome to the first episode of PUBG Daily/Dailies. Title is a work in progress. I am wtfmoses. You will not see me on screen today. I will be focusing 100% on the gameplay. I'm going to be doing a review of this player. They submitted a review to me via the form on the announcement video I made. I will follow up with more details for you guys as far as uploading your gameplay for me to review afterwards. But essentially, we're going to be watching your average frog here play this game on Erangel. So the style of this video is going to be analytical. We're going to be doing some review of his movement, plays, etc. We'll be bouncing around, jumping around with the replay system, so it won't be 100% linear. So this is the first episode. It will be a bit of a work in progress, but either way, we will be doing a critique and analysis of this guy's gameplay. So here we go. He is dropping in to the kind of southern Gatka, north of Ferry Pier area. This is a typical compound where a lot of people like to go. So let's take a look. I'll be speeding up and slowing down as the gameplay goes. So for now, in the loot phase, we'll start here. So bit of a botch landing, but that's okay. He does have one guy with him, so average frog is going to be looting in here, and he does have brass monkey over on his right. We do have the ability to see from an omniscient standpoint, you know, what's going on and where. So average frog looting, running around, brass monkey doing the same. Otherwise, not very contested. A few other players in the area, but nothing to worry about just yet. Average frog found himself a shotgun. Brass monkey coming to investigate. Hearing those footsteps. All right, so just real quick. If you expect someone to be somewhere, like Frog hears these footsteps coming. So in this situation, if you watch how he kind of comes out, he just like completely wide peaks. So this guy's already come all the way up the stairs. You don't have to pop out like this. Like, he brings his full body out into the hallway. He lands that first shot, which is great. But, you know, you got to be a little bit more careful than that, I think, when doing a peek like that. You know, if this guy's got a shotgun too, you know, you might be finding yourself in a situation where you're getting blasted in the face just as easily. So, try and use that lean key. So in the loot phase again, we'll speed it up nice and quick. So this area isn't the best as far as an initial loot spot is concerned. You do have the buildings here, which is great, but then you're kind of limited by vehicle spawns and the circle. So this circle is you know, northwest, so not too bad. But really, you're limited with vehicles, right? So you have no immediate vehicle spawns here. You'd have to strike out and find your own vehicle. And when you're doing that, you're running through a forested area by Ferry Pier. So if Ferry Pier is the next closest area, you'll have transition with military base, etc. If you can't find yourself a vehicle, you're going to wind up being on foot. And being on foot in a place that's relatively unknown like Ferry Pier can be dangerous because it's kind of complicated. But otherwise, it really depends on what you're trying to accomplish in the mid-game. Because right now, if his mid-game is to, you know, run around and try and get kills, he has very few options other than just run around. So that looks exactly what he's going to do. He's going to have to run around on foot here. He's got himself a silenced Tommy gun and a shotgun. Looks like he's going to be heading north through the red zone. Might have to camp out for the red zone here. Nope, just looting. So just running through the field, looking to find some more loot here. So we can see that there's a swole weevil off to the right there. But otherwise, it's just straight looting here. So for the sake of everybody, I'm just going to go ahead and mute the red zone. We don't need to simulate that. So he chills for a minute, keeps running. Looks like he's just going to continue to loot here, and then we'll kind of come back to him when he's done with that. So I believe we saw Swole Weevil getting a little bit closer. He's up on those trees. So he's AFK, I guess, or just hanging out waiting for a minute. I think he's kind of inclined just to clear these compounds out and continue to loot, but I'm not really sure what he's motivated to be doing right now, other than just walking around looting. So hearing some gunshots. Immediately runs from cover to the gunshots. Not fully aware as to where that's happening, I don't think. Here's the vehicle coming. Alright, so one thing I see a lot of players do is this. So they'll come out of cover and then they'll stop in cover. And now obviously I've paused it, but you saw just a second ago, he's paused it, or he paused briefly out of cover near where gunshots are firing. That's something you probably want to try and avoid doing. If you're going to stop somewhere, try and stop at or around cover. So I think he spotted this enemy down here. So fairly easy kill. That's a bug, by the way. So starts looting. Relatively undergeared still with the AR, level 1 vest. Trying to stay mobile while looting, which is great. I mean, that's a good habit to be in. Or a good habit to have, I should say. All right. I'm not particularly pleased with his pathing. You know, he doesn't have a ton of options right now. He is being a bit of a bush guy, just kind of walking around, looking around. I suppose if I were to say one thing so far is that he doesn't really seem to have a purpose as to where he wants to go. He's just kind of looting from one spot to the next, and he happened to come across a few guys here and there, which is fine. I mean, but what you want to try and do, I mean, his purpose is to get to the zone, so he is kind of walking northbound. You should try and have a vehicle. I think vehicles really make this stage of the game a lot easier for you, flexible. There's only 35 left alive. The chances of you coming across somebody in random compounds is fairly low. You don't really know that, especially at the edge of the zone. But ultimately, time efficiency here is important. And I don't know if he's doing necessarily a good job with that just yet. But that's not to say he's doing a bad job or playing poorly. He's got himself a level 3 vest, a new coat, and some clothes off the ground. So he's changed the wardrobe up a little bit. I'm actually watching someone completely different. God damn it. Where did our guy go? He's back here. How did that happen? Thanks, spectate client. Hold on a second. See? Episode 1. It can't be going too smooth. Alright, so I don't know how the hell that happened. Strange. Just warped me to a completely different guy. Anyway, still looting. Found himself a Scar 4X, so no level 3 vest. Same equipment. He's heard a couple more gunshots. Alright. So my point kind of holds true. Just really focused on looting still. With this stage of the game, there's only 32 people left alive. Still being in the loot phase is a little inefficient. It depending on what you want to accomplish in the game. If you're going for kills or looking for the win, you know, he's at an okay spot in this game. Hasn't taken any damage. We don't have an idea about his meds or anything yet, but yeah, he's just looting. $28 left alive. So he's now just entering the second zone. There are a lot of people transitioning with him in this area. You can see all these people coming up here. But he is inclined to still be looting. So really, I think the basis of this game is that if you want to get into a better spot to be more effective in the mid game, you have to land at a bit of a better spot. You can hear a vehicle stop there. Alright, so he's engaged this guy out in the field. Repositioning a little bit. He does have the 4X and the SCAR, so that's a good option here for this, but the vehicle's on the move again. So if he was looking to secure a kill here... I'm just going to pause this real quick. Something you want to avoid doing, well, not avoid doing, but at least be aware of the potential dangers, is starting a fight on the edge of the zone, because especially in an area with cover like this one is, you can already see that there's people moving up. So if you ever get into gunfights, and you, especially on the edge of the zone, and you get flanked and it's frustrating, it happens to me a lot too, but you got to recognize that in transition phases is where most people die. And because the zone is closing, it's relatively close to the edge of the zone now. You might get into a situation where you start a fight with someone who is relatively difficult to kill. The chances of him landing a kill on this car is fairly low, unless he, you know, hits some really nice shots. But making all that noise is just going to draw attention to your position, and really you're giving this guy the advantage of audio position. But really, this guy, even without the UI and the omniscient perspective that we have now, is that if you're along the edge of the zone, you have to assume that there's going to be people nearby to your left and right, or at the very least behind you. So be careful with how much information you give out when you're fighting near the edge of the zone, or choosing to engage at the edge of the zone. So he doesn't really take any time to look around him. He just like jumps out into this open field. So if Stupid Guns over here was inclined, he could have easily killed him if he had just ran over to him, because Average Frog here just jumps out into an open field immediately after engaging in a vehicle. He's using the hedgerow for cover, which is good, but realistically, if this guy had any inclination to come over to him, he would have been fairly easily killed there, or at least attacked without any defense. Not to say he would instantly die, but all right. So just from a activity standpoint, I think Average Frog could probably be better served by maybe utilizing vehicles a little bit better. As you can see, this zone is getting further and further north, and look at all the people around him. I mean, I would say most of the map is represented near him at this point. If we're 25 alive, there's, you know, 10 or more people around him right now. Hearing that vehicle again. Hearing some more shots, kind of representative of how many people are transitioning into the zone right now. You can see there's battles happening everywhere, and he is relatively nearby to other people. Hearing some shots there. Luckily, they weren't at him initially, so trading shots there. Almost dies. He was very close to being dead. So now having to med here. I think that was just a bit of circumstance. These two individuals got into a gunfight, and then he happened to clean it up, but almost went down himself. So he will net two corpses worth of loot. He didn't really spend too much time looking around him. You know, he needs this loot, so I'm not really faulting him for looting at this stage. But this is kind of a dangerous loot. So we'll speed it up a little bit here. off he goes. So now time is a bit against him. So in that looting stage, or in that little losing thing he was doing there, he's basically given up all of his time to get to the new zone. So now he's having to rush on foot into the new zone across from a very difficult to break compound. Like there's 3 people here already. Not something that he would know, but this compound here, if you see a circle like this, you have to assume that compounds like this are going to be occupied because it's such a powerful compound. You have great vision across the bridge. You can see the bridge itself. Anyone crossing on the beach, you can see across back behind you. Some of these trees will block LOS to the crossing points, but this is a very powerful compound right here and is very commonly occupied in circles like this. So just keep that in mind, and use time to your advantage as well. Well, or at least manage your time effectively, I should say. Because racing the zone, this stage of the game, is not something you want to be doing because it doesn't give you very much room for maneuverability or decision making. I definitely would have grabbed that car, but he's choosing to stay on foot here. So that compound over there is also quite powerful. Clearly occupied, so he's going to avoid that. I'm unsure of his pathing right here. So be efficient in your movement. Okay, so like you can see here, we have, like if you come into the zone here and you know that you have to continue to go north because the new zone is popped, you should check. Again, it's a drastically northern circle. A lot of people are going to be concentrated on the bottom edge of this because there's just not going to be too many people hanging out in this area. There's nothing of value here. Maybe the plane wreck for cover, but this circle has been drastically to the north of its previous circle twice now. So unless you started at the shooting range and stayed in Severity the whole game, the chances of there being people up in this area are very low. So you have to assume, based on all the stuff, like look at, like if you draw a line right in the middle of the map, all these towns will have been filtering north this whole time. So the bottom edge of this is going to be just rife with people, and you can see that on the map here where we get to see where everybody is. So average frog is between, you know, no less than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people. So he's right in the middle. And most of which are already across. Well, I would say half of which are already across. So when it comes to efficiency of movement, knowing that there's people around here and where you have to go, move with purpose. Like don't come to this tree and then kind of chill over here looking at this compound and then come over here, take another look, stop and wait, run out into open cover, come over this way and then run to the rock. Because you have all this, you have like many cover pieces here you can use. Just kind of bounce from one to the next. Hold on, I missed that. Oh, he actually lands a water kill there on a guy crossing. So stops and cover again. So that's a good move. Now having to cross himself. He doesn't have any room for just stopping, so going to loot there would not be wise. So smart move there. But crossing on foot here is tough. Luckily, he's so late that most of everybody is ahead of him. So that's a plus. So we're headed now into the end game. One of the final circles is about to close. He's got his gun away because he's late running. A few people here are probably going to die to the zone. I think Space Pug probably will die to the zone. But we're going to be sticking now into the first person perspective and just kind of looking at how he manages decision making in the end game with only his vision available. So it looks like he spotted this guy running through the field here. So it looks like he's going to start this fight with the circle closing. All right. So right now he's got to make a decision. The guy he's fighting is in the zone. Now, I've talked about this 100 times, so he should be able to get a med kit off unless he's got no meds. But now he's fighting a... Oh my gosh, he gets... Alright, so he won that fight, which is great. I'm happy for him. But at the same time, that is the last kind of fight you want to be... Sorry. There we go. Alright, there we go. So, that is the last kind of fight you want to be taking. Where the guy you've attacked is in the zone, in cover. So he actually pops a boost first for some reason. I don't know why. If he had popped a first aid and then just held him here, Average Frog would have to then either hold this fight out of the zone, taking damage from the zone, or rotate up to this hill after taking those shots, again in the zone, because there's no way he could get in. The closest he could get in cover again is here. And by that time, Ascent Silent here could have, you know, meted, ran up the hill. So that type of fight is not something you want to engage in at this stage of the game. He could have easily waited to start that, to get into a better cover or closer cover, or to get closer to the enemy. But instead, started that fight a little bit early. So Ascent Silent actually botches his med process here. See, he's in the zone, already taking damage. He has to stop. And Ascent Silent is just, you know, unaware as to where those shots are coming from. But it would have been very easy for a player to respond to him in cover there and taking him out relatively easily. Again, looting on the edge of the zone out of cover is not advisable. But that's okay. I think he's actually switching his weapon. So, yeah, you don't want to be doing heavy loot changes like that. I've done it in the past myself, and it does lead into end in disaster if you're not careful. But, yeah, he's spending way too much time changing his gear around here. Yeah, so regardless, and he didn't finish. He had to go back to it. So you're really leaving yourself open when you do stuff like that. So now he's only got a minute to maneuver. 7 left alive. Mostly spread out or fighting on the edge of the zone elsewhere. So I think he's kind of benefited from the fact of, I don't want to say luck, but some circumstances have helped him in this situation. So we spotted another player here, Rust Maniac. You should very rarely prone, in my opinion. I don't know what he's looking for. He's looking for movement here, but he's restricted his vision so much that he can't really see much. Because right now he's just looking at a tree. Maybe, yeah, it looks like he's boosting now. Still got that level 1 vest. Looking. So he's lost sight of his opponent, who's now almost completely on his left. So he's been re-peaking this angle. So he peaked the same angle like over and over and over again. At the very least, just switch your angles up. Like, he's left all of this down here completely unchecked, and it allowed Rust Maniac to get from over here, where he first spotted him, like way over here, and because Average Frog was looking in the same way over and over again, he just ran. He just ran all the way over here. So Rust Maniac has now got a complete flank on him, and Rust Maniac, luckily for Average Frog, is completely unaware of his presence as well. So, I mean, look at how open he is. He's away from cover, well, away from his cover, I should say. But he's only doing that to get an angle where he's looking. But he's completely exposed on his left side. So let's see how he reacts here. Heard the footsteps for a while now. The footsteps. He ran right past him. He ran right past him. Rust Maniac. Oh my god, I'm sorry. Let me back that up again. He ran all the way past him. That's how lucky he got. Rust Maniac runs all the way past him. And it wasn't until the very last second that Average Frog spotted him and shot him in the back. But now he's trying to loot. Well, he stopped briefly. I don't think he's had an opportunity to switch out that level 1 vest yet, but Regardless, again, a little bit late to the zone. All right. So we see again the circle has not been kind to Average Frog, to be fair. I mean, the circle has been away from him every time, so I can't really fault him too much for that. He's got a decent kit here. Just chilling. So he's gonna wait. And it looks like he's gonna ride the edge of the zone. So he's gonna do the standard maneuver, which is pushing this gap. So if you look at the gap between these two circles, moving in this way is a fairly standard move for most people, because it allows you to kind of close vision and eliminate where people can be all the way through this little gap. So you can see this guy, S10T4. This is what you're looking for, is this guy right here. The guy hugging the edge of the zone. That's why you're walking on the edge. Okay, hold on a second. So again, this move right here, if he's doing what well, let's watch it. So this is a pretty exposed move. He had options for cover, but he chose to ignore them. So again, here, like he just chose the quickest possible path, which is the straight line from where he started. But you can again just jump in between cover here, because look, like there's nothing here, right? So you've established that right now there's nobody chilling around this area. But if there happened to be a guy at one of these two trees and you're running this way, look at the sight lines, right? Look at the sight lines. Average Frog is running out of cover right here, but if he had chosen instead to go this way, rock, tree, and then he's across and he can continue doing his edge press here if he wants to. So just keep in mind, use your cover. Use your cover. Spots an enemy. Yep. All right. So S10T4 had the better gear, but was moving poorly. So Average Frog kind of benefited from that. And now he's cleared out his side of the zone, which is great. So 4 left. Looking around. His vest is in pretty rough shape. He's not medding. I don't know if he has any meds left. He might not. You gotta take the 4X off the rifle at this point. I think if you have a red dot, or even if you don't have a red dot, iron sights or something would be okay. But his M4 looks pretty naked. It doesn't look like he has a grip on it, so I'm not sure if he's got sight options. So he's sticking with the 4X. I would almost use the Tommy gun in this situation if his only sight option is the 4X, because if you get down your scope in a close quarters fight, you might lose. But has a bit of time here, chilling. Overall, I think the biggest issue right now is just his movement and positioning with cover and that kind of thing. It's a little sloppy. All right, cruising into the zone, getting closer. 23 seconds until the next change. Here comes a grenade. Okay, I don't know what. So all right, before he chucks this thing, he can't see anybody, right? He has no information. What is he throwing? Regular grenade. So he's about to throw a regular grenade. It looks like he's going to nade the pit, which is actually, you know, to be honest, good game sense, knowing this pit here. This is a very popular spot for people to chill. But the only thing... Oh, well, let's watch it play out first. Let's see if it's effective or not. Nope, not effective. So the nade landed short. So immediately, this guy, let's see, how does he react actually? Let's just play it for a little bit. He luckily looks the wrong direction, but that nade hit and then throw right there has, in my opinion, like if I was this guy, my expectation would be that the nade came from over here, and then I would press the ridge and see if there's somebody there. Because what you want to try to avoid is having someone take this ridge on you if you're in this pit. You want to have ridge control here just so you can maintain vision. Because if you pop up on the ridge, you can peek and then retreat. But that nade right there only served to give away Average Frog's position. So he rotates away. Got another nade out. Looks like he's going to go for another nade. Chucks that over. Ooh, he actually landed that one. Nice. Nice. Here's the final gunshot. Stops. He has an idea as to where that shot came from. Not sure if that was a bug. Oh, no, that was legit. I think that was just a misfire. Looking at the edge of the zone. Where is he? Here comes the nade. He keeps throwing these underhanded grenades. I'm not sure if he's just throwing them in panic or to get rid of them or what, but throwing those nades like that just gives away your spot, right? You want to give as much, or sorry, you want to give as little information out to your 1v1 opponent as possible. And chucking nades and whatnot, making noise, that just gives them a better idea as to where you are. Because you have no idea where he is. He might not know where you are. But he does have zone control here, which is good. There's no need to be looking behind him like that. He knows where that other guy is. He just needs to hold edge control here. He just needs to like zone him, like right here. Just hold this zone right here because he knows where he is. Well, maybe not anymore. So Cat Party's waited way too long. The other guy. So Cat Party's gonna crawl it in here. Alright, now he definitely knows where he is. Oh, that nade bounced right in front of him. Good recovery. I think he saw him stand up, I think. Oh, there he did. And that's that. Okay, so overall, I liked some of the decision making. I think if I were to critique this player in a few different ways, the first would be time management. Managing your time effectively. So having the ability to travel through the zones a little bit more efficiently. I would say using a vehicle in a lot of instances would be smart. Otherwise, it was more so movement and positioning. You saw a lot of different examples of moving in and out of cover. Did get a little bit of luck on his end. I think there were a few instances where he could have very easily been killed. But otherwise, you know, good job on the win. I like it. I think that he held his positioning in this last zone very well. I think he was a little bit under geared, as you can see now that he's naked. He's got no shirt on. But overall, a decent game, but a lot to work on. This player was rated in the 1300s, I believe. Yeah, I think movement and positioning as well as time management are the two biggest factors here. I think we saw a few different examples, and ultimately just you know, optimizing the gear and making sure that you have the proper kit for the right time. The Tommy gun didn't come into play basically ever, aside from the few sections in the game. So he needed to find himself a red dot and a couple other things. But otherwise, GG to your Average Frog, and thank you for submitting your replay. So if you're interested in submitting your replay to PUBG Breakdown, I have a video on my YouTube channel with all of the links to submit it. So if you're interested in having your gameplay reviewed, you can check that out. And for now, I will open it up to the chat for questions. Not sure if there's anybody watching, but yeah. So that's kind of the end of that. So if you have any questions in the chat, now is the time. Where's the best place to loot? Well, that's up to you. I don't think that there is a best place. I kind of prefer places like Gatka, that kind of stuff. Best early game setup. What do you mean? Will you consider third-person perspective analysis too? No. Talk more about when to use grenades in 1v1s. You want to use grenades with you want to be informed with your grenades. So you should throw your grenades for effect, not to explore. Because really, if I'm in a game, and I see a nade fly at me, the first thing I'm thinking about is where did it come from? Because I'm just following the trajectory of the nades. Sometimes a nade will land at my feet and I'll explode. That's an informed grenade. That person has seen me and then you know, blown me up. But if I see a nade just like land somewhere next to me, I'll be like, okay, where'd that come from? And then I'll wait for the second nade, because there's always a second nade. And then yeah, you kind of follow the trajectory there, and you can flank somebody. So really 1v1s, you can use it for exploration as well, because really you're not unless you have no idea. But I would throw nades at cover pieces, like if in this case, just looking at this situation, considering the zone. Let's just go back a step. So before it started closing, and so this is the 1v1 situation, right? So Frog's here, his enemy's over there. He knows that the enemy isn't behind him. He did spend some time looking behind him, but he knows he's over here somewhere. So if I'm throwing nades, I'm throwing nades at this rock. And that's basically it. I would just chuck nades out in front of me here and see if I can get some movement. So what you want to do with nades is either force someone out of cover or scare them to move. Because Cat Party here is just laying in the grass. So if I happen to chuck a nade at this rock, just the thought that there's a grenade near him might get him to stand up and move. And when he stands up and move, you just blast him. Because if you just start like before, when he was over here at this tree or wherever it was, he's just throwing nades. He's throwing nades blind. So he has got no idea if there's someone here. But if this guy, for instance, was here on the edge, you know, not the best spot, to be honest, but if he just happened to be here, all he's got to do is just go around and bang, flank, because he knows where those nades came from. Or at least a relative idea. Why do you rarely crawl? Less mobility? Yeah, it's mobility as well as vulnerability. Like if you're just like laying in the grass next to a tree, you're a very easy target to be sniped. Yeah, no, duos and squads are accepted as well. Do you agree with the way the rating system is done as of now? No, I don't. I think it needs to be better. You were saying that mid-game he should have stopped looting and look. Well, that's not what I said, but that's what I think that it depends on what you want to be doing in the mid-game. If you want to look for fights, you need a vehicle. If you want to be as mobile as possible, you need a vehicle. Would it be unbalanced if crate weapons could be found on the map? Yes. SMG ranking. Oh man, that's hard now, actually. Honestly, dude, Micro Uzi, Micro Uzi, Vector. That's it. The Vector's still the worst. The Micro Uzi's really good. 1v1, I'll kick your butt. Well, if you can make it to the end game, maybe I'll see you there. Let's see here. I think that's kind of everything for today. So I'm not going to do another one. I think that was enough for this one. I'm going to cut this up and put it on YouTube. So if you did miss it, this will be coming up in the form of a YouTube video shortly. Oh yeah, the Tommy gun is an SMG. Okay, the Tommy gun is below the Vector. The Tommy gun is the worst SMG. See, it's so bad I forgot it exists. Same time every day for this segment? Probably not. Well, maybe. I don't know. I'm working on my schedule for this. I'm going to be doing weekly schedules. For those of you guys who want to see my weekly schedule, you can follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/wtfmoses. That's where I stream all my gameplay. I'll be doing this series on YouTube, just because I feel like I neglect you guys. So, but yeah, there will be more like this, but it won't necessarily be this time. What do you think of the state of esports for PUBG? Growing rapidly. Kind of funny how they took it out of the crate and still no one uses it. Well, because they nerfed the crap out of it. But anyway, I'll be cutting this up for YouTube. Thank you guys for watching. I'll be having more content through the week, similar to this. I will probably do another one of these tomorrow. So you can check me out on Twitter, twitter.com/wtfmoses. I will announce when this is starting on Twitter so people can come watch. I didn't do that today. I forgot. My favorite gun is the M4. And yeah, if you guys have any feedback, just leave it as a comment on the upcoming YouTube video. It'll be going up here in the next hour or two. But thank you guys. Thank you guys for coming to hang out. And I'll see you guys next time. All right. Have a great day, everybody.